Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are digging into a massive, kind of terrifying number that hangs over the entire world of AI. And more importantly, we're going to show you exactly how to beat those odds.
So let's just start with this number. It comes from Gartner, and it is a staggering one, 85%. 85% of AI projects completely fail to deliver on their goals. Just let that sink in for a second. The vast majority of all the money, all the time, all the brain power poured into AI, it just doesn't pan out.
But that number isn't just a statistic. It's really a symptom of a much, much bigger problem. As one of our sources puts it so perfectly, most companies don't invest in AI, they gamble. And just like in any casino, the house usually wins. And that right there is the high-stakes, high-risk game far too many businesses are playing. To really put this in perspective, think about this analogy, because it shows just how wild this whole approach really is. Okay, imagine you're building a $1 million house. You would absolutely demand a detailed architectural blueprint, right? Of course you would. You'd need certainty on the foundation, the structure, the costs, all of it. That's a calculated investment. And yet, for a $1 million AI project, the plan is often just a PowerPoint, a few slides based on high-level concepts and a whole lot of hope. That's not an investment. That's a gamble, plain and simple.
So let's get into why the house wins. And here's a spoiler. It has almost nothing to do with the technology itself.
So what is the real reason then? Well, this isn't just guesswork. We've got data from a SpryFox survey of actual AI practitioners, and it points to a very clear and maybe kind of surprising answer.
Okay, so look at this. Just look at the top reasons projects fail. Failed stakeholder management, poor data fundamentals, unclear problem definition. Are you seeing the pattern here? None of these are about fancy algorithms or broken code. The failures are happening way before anyone writes a single line of code. These are failures of people, of process, and most of all, of strategy.
And this just confirms what experts at Okuni have been saying all along. AI doesn't fail because the technology is bad. It fails because companies don't have a plan. The root cause isn't the tech. It's the complete lack of a solid strategy.
All right, so that brings us to the winning blueprint. If the problem is a bad plan or no plan at all, then the solution is pretty obvious, right? You need a better plan. Let's break down this framework for success.
This is the crucial shift in thinking we have to make. The solution isn't about hiring smarter coders to write better code. It's about taking a step back and creating a much, much better plan. We've got to move our focus away from just the technical wizardry and onto a clear, actionable business strategy.
And this plan, well, it has a name. It's called an AI blueprint. Now, the sources we've looked at define it as a strategic framework that literally outlines every single step of the project. From the very beginning, defining the problem, all the way to the end, planning the deployment. The whole point is to de-risk the project and make absolutely sure that the investment is tied to a real, measurable financial outcome.
A good blueprint forces you to answer 4 critical questions before you even think about building anything. It's what moves you from hoping and guessing to actually knowing. First up, step 1, the why. You have to align the project with clear business goals. Step 2 is the what, choosing the right platforms, figuring out the data. Step 3 is the who, getting all the different teams, the tech folks, the business side to actually collaborate. And finally, step 4, the how. What's the real-world strategy for plugging this AI into the systems you already have?
Okay, so let's talk about building your certainty. What actually goes into one of these blueprints? Let's look at the core components that create that rock-solid foundation.
This is really where the guesswork stops. A proper blueprint documents everything. It starts with the core business problem you're trying to solve and the specific metrics you'll use to measure success. It includes a serious plan for assessing data quality and managing risk. It forces everyone to get on the same page about who's responsible for what. And maybe most importantly, it demands a brutally honest look at the costs versus the benefits before you're already halfway down the road and can't turn back.
And, this level of planning, it forces you to think about things that are super important but often get overlooked. You have to ask the tough questions, like, what is the true cost if this thing makes a mistake? Is it a small hiccup or is it a multi-million-dollar disaster? You also have to ask, is this project even economically viable in the long run?
Or are we creating something where the maintenance costs are just going to eat up any profit we might make?
The value of doing all this work up front is summed up perfectly by Maciej Karpich, the CTO at dlabs.ai. He says that this discovery phase allows both a client and a team to make data-driven decisions and reduce all risks. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? It's about creating a shared plan that's built on hard data, not on wishful thinking.
So what this all really boils down to is a complete transformation. A blueprint takes your AI project and turns it from a high-risk bet into a calculated, strategic investment. It's the difference between walking into that casino and just hoping you get lucky and actually owning the casino. It really is the difference between gambling and winning. So as we wrap this up, there's really only one question you need to take back to your team. When you look at your next big AI project, you have to ask yourself, honestly, are we making a smart investment that's built on a solid blueprint, or are we just placing another bet and hoping for the best?